All right, let's see what's happening. 8:30 news, building permits, what happened. It was during this big down move here and then kept going and bouncing back a little bit. There's not much happening. You have these orange events. I don't know that they'll be that impactful. Not really worried about this FOMC speaker. See if anything else is happening. What's on Monday? Nothing on Monday. Not necessarily a good thing. It may be back to normal after that. So yesterday was just a grind up, and now we're coming back. Like a 38% retracement right now. Everything's in a downtrend, as you can imagine, just because of that big down move. Hanging out near that 500 level again, which I really don't like. Came below this 50 on both the cloud and the shorter term, which pretty good sign we're oversold, which you could just again look at by how many bars down we have. 6, 5, then 13, 2 bars up, 1 bar up. So pretty much 3 bars up, and we have, what is that? 19, 24 bars, 21 bars down net. You take out the up bars. And these are larger bars than the ones over on the left-hand side. It's kind of starting like yesterday, isn't it? Yeah, yesterday was a up, and then it grinded up. Today it's down. We're having a little bit of retrace. It doesn't mean we're gonna have the same day as yesterday. It's just the pre-market action is kind of similar to yesterday. Really to tell the implications for that, if any. Longer term Bulenox is up, but it's also mixed. If we stay above 5, 10, 25 on the NQ, I think that will be a good sign that we're in an uptrend. Don't like this rounding pattern here. This worries me quite a bit. Yesterday was also the bank holiday, so we shouldn't be surprised seeing that type of terrible price action. There is halfway decent volatility on the ES in the pre-market session, running around 9. ES and NQ are moving together right now, and they are contextually around the same areas. Giving the same signals on the same bars. That's better than yesterday. Again, let's try not to forget we have this 500 level to deal with. Just gonna put that there so I don't forget. Because I have a feeling I'm gonna get distracted in a few minutes and then make a bad decision. So hopefully that'll stop me. These look like they're trying to move back to the upside, but even with these long terms down, I could easily just continue down, especially seeing that big, like, it's almost like a hangman, right? Like big hangman type of pattern. I don't know what you call that. Like a crazy rounding top. Would be a short right here at the 49.50 if it comes back down. Kind of on the fence around that one because at 450, I think we would have to see how it moves there. Maybe if it took a little like breather in between somewhere, like right in this area, and then went to it, maybe. And this idea from yesterday, everything's up, so there would be a potential up if we got a like magenta, then a green. That would be an up signal. Here's FTT. I have someone call me. I'll be right back. but not too much right now. It's kind of just bouncing up and down around this 500. On this, I would like to see a little bit more up for the left-hand minute. And then on the right, I'd like to see it turn red. And then if the left say blue and the right turns blue, I would get long there. Here, I need to change in color on the NQ because the signal's already occurred back here. I could try to take a lime one, but the market's moved quite a bit. I don't know that I want to do that. We need the ES to close down and then to get a signal on the NQ on these two charts. $500 level on a Friday is probably not the best scenario to get a lot of good trade setups. Be really nice if the ES would start to keep pace. But it's just hanging out at that 555 number. The ES hasn't turned down yet, so I can't take that even if it closed down there. Got out with maybe like $1, I imagine. Let's see. That is the precision, and this is FTT right now. We're still waiting to see if we can move away from this 500 level. I would love to see. Actually, don't necessarily care where the market goes right now. I would just like the ES and the NQ to move together on this chart, because I think we can get a setup if they start moving together, and it wouldn't matter in either direction. But this, like with this sideways price action right here, it makes me leery of taking this, even if it turns back to the upside. But we may try to do a small scalp there if it does close up. I missed the close, and then it moved up. So we'll just forget about that. It was right at 500 too, so it was probably a good thing I missed it. It wouldn't have been a smart trade. Sometimes it works out that way too. You just miss it, and it works out in your favor. Even though it would have went to some level of profit target, I probably would have went to 5 points on that one. See, maybe we can get a close up here. Okay, did the market just pop? I think so. Yeah, it just popped. So I would normally go for a 20-point target there, but because of how we're moving today, I moved it to 10 points. Ended up working. That's where we're at for FTT. This, if this closes up, this could be a second entry to go long here. Yes, in the NQ1, their minute charts are looking like it wants to not necessarily go up right now. Not saying it looks like it wants to go down, but it doesn't look like it wants to go up. So we're just going to turn that off for right this second. Still inside the 5-minute opening range. We haven't been able to close outside of it yet, although we have a 5-minute close in 976. And it looks like it closed outside of it barely without any conviction whatsoever. Have this like kind of a couple different trend lines here on the ES. It keeps coming down. We'll see if it holds. I just do not have a lot of thoughts on the market right now just because it's so sideways, other than I don't like it. This looks terrible here. And terrible pop. On Bulenox, we had one trade go for 175. We had another trade that went to break even plus $3.84, and another trade that went to break even plus for $11.64. So up 191.30 across 3 accounts. Nothing to write home about. The one good thing is the one that had the $175 move is the one that is closest to even hitting that withdrawal threshold. So that account is at in profit 2,266 cents. So we need another, what is it, $1,400 in that account to get to a first withdrawal scenario. And the others are just really far behind, so we'll just keep trading those. The hardest part is getting to that, past that withdrawal threshold, because then every 10 days it's not so terrible to try to hit $1,000, or even if it's you give yourself once a month, right? 10 days, at least 10 days in a month. That's not that unrealistic to get to $1,000. And you can do it without putting too much pressure on yourself. So if you have about 20 days or so to get to $1,000, $100 over 10 days. So if you trade 50% of the days and 50% of the days go to your profit target of $100, which on the ES would be 2 points, on the NQ would be 5 points. So if you were trading on the NQ for 200 for 10 points, you would only need 5 days that went there. And then another 5 days with break even plus should make up for commission and put you over where you need to get to withdraw $1,000. So really, it's if you have to go through the evaluation process, that's tough, obviously, if there's like 10 days or 6 days or 7 days or whatever it is. And then getting to that withdrawal threshold and then having that buffer on top to withdraw. So the buffer for Bulenox is $100 plus whatever the $2,500 profit target is. So $2,600 plus the minimum withdrawal is $1,000. So $2,600 plus 1,000 gets us to $3,600. If I need to get to $3,600, but that's the most difficult part, is getting there for the first time. Once you get there and you have that first withdrawal, it's a lot easier, a lot less pressure, a lot psychologically. That next month, it's much easier to get to that $1,000, knowing you have 20 trade days. And you don't even have to trade all those, right? That's just looking at the market of trade days. So if you trade 50% of the time and you're taking really good setups and it's going to your profit target and you're trading the NQ, you're making $2,000 a month. That means you would be withdrawing $1,500 and adding $500 to your buffer, or adding $500 to ultimately what you withdraw after you get past those, how many ever withdrawals you have to go through. Hitting this triple top right here on the NQ, I want to point that out, and it's on multiple chart. Lots of wicks on the 40 range. Not necessarily a bad thing, because you do have this like W pattern here, right? And the W pattern is kind of going up. So hopefully this means we're going to get a breakout soon, and I don't know which side, but hopefully we'll get a breakout to one side, and that's the way the market's going to move for the rest of the day. You can kind of see it here. Looks like it might be breaking up. But the question is going to be, is our ES moving with it? And the ES is moving with it. So there was a good amount of resistance at around 36, 37-ish. That is bouncing at. So the question now with that movement, was it a fake out, or is it actually just getting rid of whoever was trying to play this double triple top? Double top probably on a different time frame, triple top on a smaller time frame. So it could be just people going up, kind of getting batted down by whoever was playing that, and now they may be making the move back up. Or it was a fake out. We'll see. I don't know. Hopefully people notice the one thing I do a lot is, I'm not sure which way the market's going, but we notice things that are happening in the market, and we don't have to guess what's going to happen. We can come up with scenarios. I think coming up with scenarios is the best bet, because it allows us, as the market develops, to subconsciously kind of go either route with more ease. So if you thought like, no, the market's going to be breaking up in this situation, and then later the market was selling off, you may be a little more resistant to taking a short trade, because you told yourself earlier that the market was breaking up and you had that level of conviction that the market is going up. Where if I look at it, I'm like, well, I don't know, the market could do this or do that, which later, if you want to go long or short, it's just a little bit easier to pull the trigger because you've already prepped and primed yourself for both scenarios. And we're day trading, so you should be ready to go long just as many times as you're ready to go short. We don't necessarily care about being right on calling, oh, I think the market's going to go up or down for the day. We just care about being right in very specific, very, very specific scenarios that relate to our setup. There it goes. Maybe. It keeps going and then it like stalls. Very similar to yesterday, I feel like. Which again, not surprised. If there was a bank holiday yesterday, I wonder how many people in that country also take off today to get a nice 4-day weekend and just have their junior traders or whoever work. And from my understanding, when the junior traders are trading, they have a very tight script on what they're allowed to do before they have to call their head traders. Which, they're not going to want to do on a Friday. Closed down my Bulenox. That was what, 190 or something. We are, where are we at? On precision, $100. Nothing great. On FTT, 820. FTT doesn't have any commission until you make it past a certain number of withdrawals, or you go prop. I don't remember, but you can withdraw a whole bunch of money from FTT before you ever have to pay a commission, which, depending on what account size you're trading, is great. I'd say on the 300K, it's not nearly as important, but it's free money if you're trading, so it's a nice little benefit. I think on the smaller accounts, it's definitely more impactful, especially if you're really scalping the market. So 820, not really where I wanted to be for the day for this one. I wanted to be closer to between 2 and 3K, but this is much better than having two $20 days like this week. So this week will be, you can see right here, 860 for the week, which is not great, but we'll slowly grind up there with this account, hopefully. And we just need 10 trading days, and we need to get to 19K to withdraw 4,000. So the goal is going to be to get to 20K and withdraw 4K. That'll take at least 9 more trading days. But more realistically, if this is how the market's going to be, it's going to take longer than that. But we'll just keep waiting. We'll be patient. This could potentially be a long. I'm not, no. The ES is, so the ES is turning down now. There could be a short if the NQ continues down, and it looks like it's trying to head back towards that like double top, triple top area. I mean, this hasn't moved far enough to where you could say that this is not a fake out. I think it's still in the realm of potentially being a fake out, especially with this. Let me see if there's a better. This wick right here, followed by this like small body, followed by an engulfing bar, and then kind of moving down with the ES is not a great signal. although everything still points to being up. It's just not ideal price action. Or would it draw it in here? It'd be somewhere like right in here was kind of that area. You see it came back. Maybe it's going to bounce off of it. Maybe it's going to continue going. But this is also kind of turning down. So you just, yeah, who knows what's going to happen. Didn't miss any trades today on the 32nd. I didn't like anything on this one. This chart here works better typically when the market's moving quickly. And then this one moved too fast today. Let me show you. It was, so the setup was right here, but it happened 16 seconds after the market opened. And there was it formed in 1 second. Right, so from this bar to this bar formed in 1 second. It would have worked out, but it was just happened way too fast to be able to try to trade it or want to trade it or trade it on the back end. And it was way too close to the open. I think this has more or less been an uptrend all day. The same with the other one. I look at these two charts mainly on my Bulenox. And then the tweezers are always interesting to look at. I haven't found a great way to trade these yet, but I do like to look at them. It's generally not while I'm trading because it takes too much effort because you have to come back to this chart too often. I'm already looking at enough other charts. I have 5 charts on my smaller screen, and I have 7 charts on another monitor that's the same size as my main monitor. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 18 charts without looking at this one or this one on the main screen. So it was at 18 and so like 30 charts that I look at pretty consistently. Might be too much, but there's only certain things I look at for on the chart that aren't on my main screen. So mainly on my other screens, it's what's the general trend look like. I have some that show me how many bars, you know, in one direction for a smaller Renko maybe. And then I look to see if the ES and the NQ are moving similarly and contextually close to the same areas on some of my super trends. And then there's a couple that are test setups that if I'm feeling it for the day, I'll take those. But really the most of the analysis happens on this main screen that you can see. Which is probably overkill. I could probably reduce my screens. I don't know. I could probably just do one screen. You could probably really narrow it down and maybe just look at 6, maybe 10. But because I trade slower, I have a little bit more time to look at the charts and do a little bit more general analysis. There's one kind of interesting way that I found to be pretty consistent. And if you want to determine what kind of day that it could be, and it doesn't always work right, so you know, just I want to throw that out there, is if you have some go-to trends, trend identification indicators or signals or whatever you want to call it, is if you watch when the market first opened, are they all in alignment? If yes, a lot of times, not always, a lot of times, it'll be a good trade day. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a good trade day in the direction of those indicators because it could very easily reverse, but generally speaking, I've seen from what I've looked at better setups on those days. So like today, we opened right here, and the super trends were down, and the linear regression oscillator was down, and it hasn't been a great day, right? Here it was all the same, and we kind of grinded up. Here it was all the same. I didn't trade that day, so I don't know if it was a good day or not. Here was all the same, but that's generally what you would look at. And these are longer term, so they tend to align more frequently than not. But if you had something that was a little bit faster, you may find scenarios where they align very nicely and can give you a heads up on what type of day it is. And so you can look pre-market. Does everything look like it aligns? Does it not? And then you may not even get on for the day if things are not in alignment. You can see on my charts here that the NQ was pushing above the prior high, and you can see where the ES is still kind of like down here in this like weird 65-ish area. I don't know that they're completely aligned up yet, even though we are grinding up. This was good to get out here, otherwise I would have had to add a whole bunch more, which I don't like to do. That 10 o'clock news looks like it really did have a pretty big impact. I think I said in the early market that I wasn't concerned about it, but looking back at it, if we reflect on that for a minute, it was yesterday were holidays. And again, like I said, I don't know how many people will stack Friday with Thursday with the weekend. There weren't any major news events today. So my guess, if I had thought through it maybe a little bit longer, I would have said something like, yesterday was a holiday. Today we can expect there to be less participants than on a normal day because people may be taking off, they may be getting back into the office, looking to see what happened yesterday, making adjustments, which wouldn't be in line with their normal day-to-day trading or positions. And then they're also going into a weekend, so they have to hedge whatever they have. So they're going to be opening and closing those positions, plus getting, back up to speed of what happened and whatever other meetings they have to go to. So that with the news, I probably should have put a little bit more emphasis of that. The 10 o'clock news would be more impactful than I originally thought it was. I think on a normal trading day, I was probably right. But just given contextually today, what it is, who's in the market, I think we missed the mark on that. So we'll keep that in mind for the next time we see this type of scenario. Still, I think we made good decisions today. You just rescan my charts. I don't know that there's any other setups that I'd be waiting for right now. Nope, I don't think I'm going to sit around and wait for any additional setups. Let me just throw Rhythmic back up. This is where we ended for the day. Bulenox was like 190 or something across 3 accounts, so nothing great. We do have the one account at 2200. Need 1400 more to get to first withdrawal on that. So hopefully, if we have a good next week, we could get there. I need 4 really good trading days next week on that one account to get there. So we're just realistic about it. It's probably not going to be next week. It'll probably be the week after that we can even get to that threshold, assuming we don't do anything stupid. Made $20, $30 or $17 to $22 on precision. We took a short, even though pretty much the market was in an uptrend all day. But we got out. We followed our rules. We didn't take any other stupid trades. So I think we can end this week on a positive, happy note. Good decisions throughout the week. We made it to the weekend. Nothing to hold us back during the weekend. Nothing to beat ourselves up about. So I'm going to be able to enjoy the weekend, come back on Monday refreshed, and we'll be back at it. Hope everybody had a great trading week, and we will be back on Monday.